This is my 1905 studio. Yes, the building behind me is 120 years old, and we're gonna install diesel heat so that we can tinker, edit, and build cool shit. So let's get at it. This is half of the studio, which I call the garage, because this is where I like to tinker on shit. And, well, you can't really edit and tinker in the same spot. So, this is my diesel heater. It holds 10 liters of fuel. And we're gonna install it on this wall here so it can heat this half where I tinker and the other half where I edit. As you can see, I don't have a shelf on this wall. And I think I'm gonna go a different approach than using a shelf to install this diesel heater. I originally built this diesel heater action packer for our square drop trailer and to go ice fishing. Now it came in handy with those adventures, but I need some heat in this building. I used electric heat last year, and as you know, that can be pretty expensive. So we're gonna use a diesel heater. And I realized that with the action packer, it has this very heavy duty handle. And I actually came across while cleaning my studio, or my garage, that I had this garage hook that I can then securely mount this diesel heater to the wall. Before we do that, I have to heat wrap this extra long exhaust that I purchased off Amazon, as I felt that the original one would just be too short to go through the wall and down to put the exhaust on the ground. I don't want it going up because then it's just going to clog the diesel heater over time. So it's going to go out the wall and pointing down. So I'm going to heat wrap this before installing the diesel heater on the wall. And just like that, it's heat wrapped. So now we can install this on the wall. So I drilled this hole 1.5 inches. The pipe is 1 inch with just a little bit of that heat wrap. So this should give enough spacing so that I don't burn the wood. Exhaust will fit right through, and then we can start mounting the diesel heater. You're probably wondering what I'm going to do with all this insulation around the exhaust. Well, I purchased this 4-inch exhaust adapter or heat vent adapter, and I'm going to just stick it over the hole to give that 2-inch spacing in around the and with it I'm going to put the bubble wrap protecting the insulation. Now what's interesting about this 120-year-old house is that the insulation is actually mud and hay. The insulation I have here is the gap between the window and the wall, just to help with keeping the heat in. Now that we have our hole drilled, the 4-inch exhaust vent inside holding back the insulation, I've got some of that heat tape around the hole. We can now mount this industrial hook to then hold the diesel heater. But I have a window here. So just screwing into the OSB, I don't feel that's going to be strong enough. So I'm going to grab a 1x6 that I have here, and we are going to screw that and then this to the wall. And just like that, she's secure on the wall. She ain't going anywhere. Yeah, I can slide a little bit forward, but again, it ain't going anywhere. Whether you're working outdoors on your vehicle or sitting on your patio and you want to keep the winter chill off your body, I recommend this low propane heater. It is 30,000 BTUs. I have it set up on a 30-pound propane tank, and it helps me keep the chill off while I'm working on the Xterra outdoors. Another place you can use it is in your shop or garage where you need some heat that you may not already have. The propane heater has 3 settings: low, medium, and high. Low starts at 22,000 BTUs. Medium hits around the 26,000, and then your high hits 30,000 BTUs. Now, if you're working in a space like this, you want to make sure that you have a window or a door crack so you get fresh air moving, as it is burning propane. If you let this run for an hour or so, you can heat up 700 square feet. So that's a pretty decent sized garage, shed, or shop if you have one, to keep the chill off. To set up the heater is fairly simple. Attach the main frame to the top of your propane tank. Once you have the hose connected, turn on your propane. Then you can turn the switch to low. Now, no gas is going to come through the heater until you use each individual switch underneath the heater itself. You then want to use a lighter. Hold the switch until that heater is lit, and then move on to your second one. As they heat up, they'll start to glow red, and then you're set up to heat your space. Now, due to the size being 17 inches wide and from the bottom of the frame 12 inches high, this 30,000 BTU propane heater would make a good unit for heating your ice fishing tent. As a lot of people are using a buddy heater, this system being on top of the propane tank allows it to then sit level with you while on a chair, heating your main body instead of lower down. If you want to add this 30,000 BTU propane heater to your arsenal of tools to keep you warm, the link will be down below. As you can see, Harley's enjoying the radiant heat from this propane heater, so thank you to Sapassi for sponsoring this week's video. There we go. Nicely in. I'm going to figure out what I can do on the other side just to help hold it separated. I realized I didn't have any heat silicone, so I'm going to have to get that so I can fill this hole, but with the heat tape at least around it a little bit, it'll help. We'll go to the other side and see how it's bent going down to the ground. I am putting wood here to help protect the insulation. If I use the original glass, it might help it up for now. Now it's time to plug in our controller, our power source, and get this diesel heater running. For our power source, we are going to use the EcoWorthy 30 amp hour battery. This video is not sponsored by EcoWorthy. I've been using their batteries for over a year now. I have 3 of them. I've got their 10 amp, their 20 amp, and their 30 amp. I actually did a video on their 20 amp as it's a different design than your standard battery package, and I use it for the live scope while out ice fishing. It's nice, compact. You can actually either use the normal post, positive, negative, or you can use a 3.5 millimeter jack to either pull power from the battery or charge it. We'll get the pumping away just to prime the diesel heater. Starts up a lot nicer when you do that. The other thing we need is our vent. Right now we're just going to heat this space, but I will be plumbing in more exhaust vent. I guess not exhaust vent, but more heat vent to go to the other side where I edit and do some of my other recordings. We'll pop that on just like that, and let's get this thing heated. That's the other thing I gotta do. This is my spillless cap. This cap actually came with a breathable lid, but it spills when you're moving around in a vehicle or trailer. So I got a second cap so that it wouldn't spill while we're bouncing down the trail. So this diesel heater always likes to kick itself in what I call super drive. Really kicks itself going, and then it will start to slow itself down once it gets up to a good running temperature. We'll go quickly outside to see how well that is looking. So as you can see, that window's a fair size. I will be blocking this off so snow and rain doesn't get into the area of the exhaust. That's just temporary for right now. So we've got the pump on the lid. We've got the extra tubing, exhaust, air intake's actually right here. There's a vent right there, and then the clean air or room air coming through the diesel heater and being heated. Now with the heat being in here, am I all fogged up? Nope. With it being inside, it's just going to circulate the heat that's inside of the house, which is nice. I'm not trying to heat the outside air. It's been a while since I've ran this diesel heater. Almost, what would it be, 8 months or so? Basically since last February, January. So I don't recall how long this 10 liter actually lasted me. Now again, that's out ice fishing in anywhere from -20 to -30. I'm pretty sure a full tank had lasted us a day and a half, possibly, maybe 2 days. I really can't remember. I know it didn't burn much our first night, and I was really surprised. So then we pushed even more to see, without topping it up, to see how long it would go. So with it being in the house, with the recirculation of the hot air once it gets up to temperature, I see the diesel heater working very low. It won't be working hard like it was out ice fishing. So I think this 10 liters of fuel is going to last us quite a while. But I'll give you guys an update on how it's doing. And again, we're going to be plumbing in whole another exhaust vent. It's going to Y out of here, going down and up to the other side, so that I can edit in heat instead of in dry heat instead of electric heat. No, I guess electric heat is still dry, but the cost is going to be huge in cost savings using the diesel heater versus the electrical heat, because electric is just crazy here in Canada. I don't know about anywhere else, but I know in winter when you're using electric heat, our bills skyrocket. So that's why I'm excited to use the diesel heater. Now I know some of you are going to say, well, that 30 amp battery ain't going to last that long. Well, it's going to get charged while I'm using it, and we're actually going to hardwire it in and convert it from AC to DC so that I can just run off the house power instead of running off a battery. But for now, we're going to use the battery and charge it. Thanks for watching this week's video on installing the diesel heater of our 1905 house that's on our property. And we'll get to the next build. See you in the next one.